President George H.W. Bush announced the start of Operation Desert Storm. This was a hope to expel Iraqi forces from Kuwait. On the Saudi-Iraqi border, more than 900,000 troops from 24 nations being led by the U.S. were stationed. AUN made the deadline of withdrawal on January 15, and with no response of Iraq, the coalition forces began the start of a 5-week bombardment on Iraqi command and control targets from air and sea. Even with the possibility of chemical weapons, a ground invasion followed in February. Forces swiftly drove Iraq from Kuwait, advancing into Iraq, eventually to reach a ceasefire within 100 hours. Coalition forces casualties were in the hundreds, while Iraqi casualties were in the tens of thousands. This was due to technological advances that the coalition forces had in the U.S.
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Andrew. This is Jesse. What year were you born?
Born in 1971.
What was your childhood like where you grew up?
I bounced around quite a bit, so I was born in Southern California down by San Diego and grew up mostly in Northern California.
What was your first job?
My first job was actually washing boats, detailing boats at a boat shop.
How old were you when you enlisted in the military?
I was 18.
And when did you start to think about what was going to happen during the war?
Probably when I got out of boot camp, I realized that we were going to get involved in the war.
And when did you find out when you were going to be deployed?
Well, actually, I had just got to a new unit, and they just one day brought us in and had a meeting and said we're going to be deploying in a week. And that was when I found out.
How did you feel about some of the threats made by the Iraqis?
Just, I don't know, I guess at that point you're pretty interested in preserving your life and the life of your friends around you.
What was your role in the operation?
I was attached to I was in a recon team, so we gathered intelligence.
Did you ever man a heavy piece of machinery, like an anti-aircraft unit?
Yeah, they trained us in a lot of different weapons.
And were there any big obstacles you had to overcome going into the military?
I'd say just to get into reconnaissance, we had a tryout for a day. They pretty much just push you to the limits and see if you have what it takes.
And this might be kind of personal, how did the war affect you afterwards?
I think at that point, I was pretty young and didn't really think about it. Probably, as the years went on, I probably thought back more on it. At the time, you're just kind of in the heat of the moment, and I didn't really consider things too much.
And what did the battlefield look like?
There was different phases to a war, I guess. It was a fairly short war, the one I was part of, so sometimes chaotic. Usually, I guess it'd be a good term.
How did you feel coming home?
I was excited, relieved it was over and everyone was okay.
And how has the war affected you now? This also might be kind of personal.
How has the war affected me now?
Yes, sir.
I just think actually in a positive way, I guess it's made me just appreciate life more and, knowing that you can make it through something like that or danger, you can enjoy life.
Okay, thank you for your time.
All right, thanks.
Do you like chicken?
I love chicken.